I am super happy that you have decided to invest in yourselves for these next few minutes. This is going to be life changing. So as you're coming in, just drop in the chat where you're calling in from, right? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, come on in, come on in, come on in. My name is Michael Cooper, and I am a total increase pastor. What that means is I don't have to rely on the church and I don't have to rely on a job for my financial well being, for my family's financial well being. I have my own stream of income. I've created my own purpose driven business that allows me to be able to take care of my family and not have to pull on the church or spend my time that I don't want to spend, that I have to take away from my family, that I have to take away from my church, working a job that I'm dedicating so much of my time to. So I'm not doing any of that, and I want to help you become the total increase pastor. So if you will tune in, sit up, take notes, turn your phone on silent if you're able to, and let's dive into the total increase pastor. Who's ready to get started here for the total increase pastor? Yes, yes, yes. Put yes in the chat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or put ready. I'm ready. Here we go. Yes, yes. Come on in. Come on in. Awesome, awesome. So, the total increase pastor, today's objective, I have an objective for you all today. Okay. Today's objective is for you to become the pastor that does not have to rely on your job, does not have to rely on even the church for your income. Okay. This is no longer going to be your identity, but in fact, we are going to step into a new identity. Somebody put in the chat, new identity, new identity. In order to get a different result, you have to take on a new identity that's able to get that result. So many people struggle not getting results simply because they don't know how to be the person who gets those results. Results are not driven by what you do. Results are driven by who you are. I'm going to say that again. Results are not driven by what you do. So many people try to, oh, if I do this and I do this, oh, I saw so-and-so does this. And then, so I'm going to go and try and do it. And you don't get the same result. Why? Because you have not become the person who's able to get that result. It's all about identity, right? So how does this relate to creating income? How does this relate to anything related to being able to generate money, to generate your own income, not having to rely on the church? It's because your identity has to shift. Your identity has to shift from the person who gets the results that you're currently getting into the person that gets new results. Money is simply an exchange of value. Money is simply exchange of value. That's all it is. Okay. And truly knowing and conveying your value, being able to truly know what your value is and know how to articulate or convey that to the world is a skill set, right? But you can't just do the skill, do the thing, if you have not become the person who knows how to do it. There has to be an identity shift. Everybody put that in the chat. Identity shifting. You have to shift your identity to become the person who's able to do the thing, right? To able to do the thing. Struggling financially, honestly, has nothing to do with your conditions, has nothing to do with your circumstances. Sometimes we believe that, well, if this was different or if that was different, my finances would be different. It has nothing to do with those things. Okay. There's no external circumstances that are causing you to get the results you're getting. It's simply because your value is not properly being conveyed to the world, and your identity has not become that of a person who knows their value and knows how to convey it. It's very simple. It's not that you're not valuable. Those who are struggling financially or in bad money cycles, it's not that they have no value. That's not the case at all. They have great value. We all have very great intrinsic value. The problem is you don't have the identity that knows that value in full, or that knows how to put that value on display so that the world can make an exchange with you. What's an exchange? I'm going to give you something for something. Okay. All business is, all money is a representation of the value that you have shown to the world. I'm going to help somebody here today. Identity is everything. Okay. If you can learn how to become the pastor, the total increase pastor, if you can become that person, the finances will come, the time freedom will come, the ability to give more to your church than you take from your church, which most of you are probably doing anyway, but to not do it from a place of necessity or strain, but being able to give and take care of your church, or provide more resources for your church because you have an abundance, you have an overflow, right? This is all predicated on identity shifting. If you can up your level of actual and perceived value, okay, if you can change the perception of the value that you have and that you offer to the world, you're going to make more money. It's very simple. So this is not rocket science. The beauty of this, it's not rocket science. It's simple, but sometimes it's things we've never heard or that we've never really broken down or thought about as it relates to us. Okay, but each level financially that you go to, right, is going to require it's going to require a different form of identity. Okay. If you're making $5,000 a month, there's one type of person that does that. If you want to make $20,000 a month, you have to take on the identity of a person who can make $20,000 a month. It sounds simple, but if you don't become that person, just doing more work, working harder, picking up an additional job, trying to mirror what you saw someone else do, if you have not become that person, it's not going to work for you. All right. So each level that you go to financially is a direct result of the value you've made available to the world. And again, this is not saying if you're not making money, you don't have value. It's saying you have value. You just have to learn how to put it on display. Everybody put this in the chat. I have to put my value on display. I have to put my value on display. If you don't put your value on display, how can you expect to increase your income? How can someone make an exchange with you if they have not placed any if they don't see any value that they want to exchange with, or exchange for, I should say, right? So each level requires you to put more value on display. I want you to think about this for a minute. How much in additional income do you truly want to make per month? Now, don't think about what you think is possible. We get put in boxes sometimes of what we think is possible, and those parameters are always wrong. Okay. But Jesus said all things are possible to him that believes. Okay. So, how much would you like to make per month each month? Right? That could be, I want to make an additional, and I'm talking about an additional income. Okay. I want to make an additional 5,000 a month. I want to make an additional 20,000 a month. I want to make an additional 50,000 a month. Whatever your number is, I want you to get that number in your mind. I want you to think about that. Most people will answer this question based on what they perceive their own value to be. Some people say, well, I want to make an additional 1,000 a month. And their number is so small because that's the level at which they view their own value. If you can up your level of value, both real and perceived, you will see a shift in your finances. It's a principle. It's going to happen. Okay. Your level of value predicates how much you are going to make. Okay. And it absolutely takes belief in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. It also takes a proper framework. Everybody put framework. Has to take a proper framework. If you don't have the right framework, or some people prefer the word blueprint or process, whichever word you like best, if you don't have the right process, framework, or blueprint for going to a different level financially, then you're going to be stuck thinking the only way to make more money is I got to work more hours. The only way to make more money is I have to pick up another job. The only way to make more money is I have to beg my members to give more, right? Or the only way to make more money is I've got to go out and get more people for the church. Well, you should be wanting to fill the church anyway, but not for the purposes of bringing in more income. No, 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 no. That the pastor's income should not solely be predicated on what the church can provide him or her. I don't believe that that's how it's supposed to work. I don't think there's anything wrong with a church paying its pastor. I don't think anything's wrong with that. I'm a pastor, but guess what? My church does not pay me anything, not because they can't afford to. Our church absolutely could take care of me, but because I choose not to live that way. I'd much rather have my own income, therefore I can live my own lifestyle. If the church is paying me and paying my bills and all those kind of things, then guess what? I can only live life to the extent that the church is able to pay me. I can't have the dream home that I want for my family if I'm just solely relying on my church income. And even if my church is large and we grow and we make a lot of money, pastors who have 500,000, 600,000, $1 million homes, they get under a lot of scrutiny, even if the church can afford to do it. I choose not to live that way. I want to be able to have my $1 million home. I want to be able to have the cars I want to drive and also be a preacher and teacher of the gospel, a pastor, and be able to say, I don't take a dime from the church. This is all based on what I've built myself. This is what total increase looks like. I also don't want to be the person who has to go to a job. Now, if you're a pastor who is bivocational, God bless you. That is awesome. But I want to help you become the pastor that does not have to give your time away to a job. I want you to be able to have your time for your family. I want you to be able to have your time for your church, for your ministry. How much better off would your church be if you had true time and financial freedom? I want you to declare this in the chat or write it in your notes. I want time and financial freedom. I want time. Actually, I don't want you to use the word want because want indicates that it's not something you have already. Okay. I want you to speak prophetically and say, I have, there we go, time and financial freedom. Just declare it. Declare it. Declare it. Life and death in the power of the tongue. Declare what you want to see. I have time and financial freedom. This is what the total increase pastor does. Two pastors can get the same bit of information. I want to help you with this. Two pastors can get the same bit of information, and one will be successful with it, and the other won't. Because there are two different types of pastors. And I'm going to share with you very quickly what those kind of pastors are. Okay. And if I had more time, I would really break this down. But just for the sake of time, I want to share with you the two types of pastors. There's the victim pastor, and then there's the increase pastor. The victim pastor always says things won't work or things don't work because they always have a laundry list of reasons why this won't work for them. This never worked in the past. This is just not how our church is set up. This is just not how I am. This is just not how the economy is right now. There's always a reason why things don't work. That's the victim pastor. And honestly, most pastors that I come in contact with, unfortunately, fall into the category of a victim pastor. And let me tell you something. That's why they get the results that they get, because their identity says, this is as much as I'm able to do, this is as much as I'm able to have because, and they have their reason why. Okay. But God is calling us to do better than that. I don't believe that's what God wants us to be. How can we lead people and lead them in hope and lead them in love and lead them in life, right? Jesus said, I come that they might have life and that more abundantly. How can we lead people in those things if we have victim mindsets ourselves? And so the other type of pastor is what I like to call the increase pastor. This is the pastor, they may not be a multimillionaire, and that's okay. Everything is not about money, but we do need money to survive. We do need money and resources to make things happen for our family and for our church and for those around us, our communities. But the increased pastor is a pastor who's constantly growing and increasing in every area of their life. How many of you truly want to increase in every area, not just financially, but spiritually? How many of you want to increase in your church's attendance, increase in your members, their identity, helping them level up? It's great for you to do it, but can you be the pastor, the increased pastor that also helps his or her members be able to go to another level? Financially, spiritually, in all these different ways? This is absolutely possible for you. This is absolutely possible for you if you believe. Somebody put that in the chat. Believe. I have to believe. believe. The increased pastor will say, if it worked for someone else, I'll make it work for me. If this guy was able to do it, if these pastors have done it, I'm going to make it work for me. This is what the increased pastor says. They don't make an excuse, but they say, I'm the type of person that will make this work. I'm going to make it work. One thing that I want you all to understand, the greatest investment you can make is an investment into yourself. Why is that? How can you be your best for your family, your congregation, your community, if you don't even invest in yourself? How can you truly, and I mean truly, invest something worthwhile into them if you won't even take time to invest into yourself? This is very important to ask yourself and to understand. We invest into everything, everybody else, but ourselves. But the pastors who find success financially, the pastors who find success financially are the ones who invest in themselves so that they can invest properly and effectively in others. I'm going to say that again. The pastors who find success financially are the ones who invest in themselves so that they can invest properly and effectively in others. The truth is this: most pastors whittle away or dry up, okay, or give up or lose their motivation or lose heart or just totally just quit and walk away because of a lack of finances and because of feeling unfulfilled. Unfortunately, this is the state of a lot of pastors. I read a statistic that said something like 1,000 pastors quit every single day. I don't know if that's true or not. Sounds believable, right? 1,000 pastors quit every single day. And it's because they have not taken on the identity of a total increased pastor, a pastor who does not accept lack anywhere in their life, not in their finances, in their family, in their church, in their congregants. They don't accept it. They continue to raise the bar and continue to increase. That's the kind of pastor that I want to be. That's the kind of pastor that I have become and that I want to help you become. The total increased pastor makes things work for him. The victim pastor makes excuses for why it can't work for him or her. The increased pastor understands the process for growth is by first stretching or straining in an uncomfortable way. Think about going to the gym. In order to make for a muscle to get stronger, it has to be stretched or strained or pushed in an uncomfortable way. That's the only way any kind of growth is going to happen. The total increase pastor understands that the right time never comes. Everybody put this, the right time never comes. When I say right time, I'm saying in quotes, the right time. If you ever thought about, oh, I'll do it when the time is right. Oh, I'll do it later on. Oh, right now is not a good time. Well, it's never going to be a good time if you don't make the changes necessary to get the result that you want. The right time's never going to come. The victim pastor is constantly waiting for the right time. In fact, their entire life ends up just being a period of waiting for the right time. Say, I don't want to be a victim pastor any longer. I'm not going to be a victim pastor any longer. The increased pastor understands that God gave him something special to give to the world and looks for all the ways possible to fine tune and offer that gift to a wider audience. Your key to financial breakthrough, pastor, to increase is understanding that the best way for me to do this is to get my value out on display to a wider audience, an audience of people who are looking for the exact thing that I'm offering. And here I'm not talking about the gospel. You preach and teach the gospel for free. You give that. You do that. Continue to do that. I'm talking about what are the other gifts, callings, skill sets, expertise that you have, that you've learned, that you've acquired. Maybe it's just gifts that you are blessed with that you can help other people with. All of us have it. Every one of you has something specific that you were just called to do. You can do it naturally. You can do it with your eyes closed, and you enjoy doing it. That's the thing right there. That's the thing. If you can learn how to cultivate that, put it on display, people will come running to you with their checkbooks, with their wallets, with their debit cards, saying, how much? How much? I need that right there. That's the thing I'm missing. Did you know this? I want you to think about this for a minute. The thing that comes easy to you is a problem that someone's looking for a solution to right now. Think about that for a minute. The thing that you can do with your eyes closed, the thing that you just enjoy doing, it's so easy for you to do, to talk about, to help people with, to guide them through, to show them how to do. That thing that's just so easy for you is the biggest problem in someone's life right now, and they're looking for a solution. And if they were only able to come across you and know that you know how to do that, or you're willing and able to do that, or you get good results in that area, they would gladly pay you whatever you asked. Gladly. I bet you didn't know that. But that's the truth of the matter. No matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter how old you are, there's somebody who is searching for your solution right now. Right now. I want to talk about 6 lies that most pastors believe that keep them stuck. Is this helping anybody? Let me know if this is helping anybody, if this is truly helping you, because I believe God wants to just completely transform some lives today. He wants to completely transform some lives today. I know he does. I know he does. And it's going to happen. Somebody put this, it's going to happen for me. It's going to happen for me. 6 lies most pastors believe, right? Lie number 1. Well, I'm not the type of person who can do this, right? This is a lie most pastors think. Oh, there's some pastors, they do good financially. That I'm not the type of pastor who can do this. The truth is, anyone can become this type of person. No one is better than you. Somebody put that in the chat. No one is better than me. Put that in the chat. Okay? No one is better than you. They are just operating at a higher identity than you currently are. That's all. That's the only difference. It's not about their background, their education. It's not about the family they came from, the city they live in, the type of church they pastor. They have just learned how to operate at a higher identity than what you're currently operating at. That's the difference. The second lie that most pastors believe, I don't have any business background or expertise. Right? That's what they think. Well, how can I run a business? How can I create my own ecosystem, my own value, and give it to the world? And I don't have any background or expertise in business. The truth is this: everything you need to run a profitable, successful business is in you already. You don't need years of college for this. You just need the right framework to plug into. Get someone's framework who's done it, who knows how to do it. Plug in your thing. You don't have to take their thing. Don't take what they're called to do. Take the thing you're called to do that you're passionate about, plug it into their framework, and now you'll have people running to you to say, that's the problem I have. Here, help me, please. Here's my money. Help me. Take it. That's the truth. The next lie that most pastors believe is this: well, I don't know anyone who would pay me enough to build a business like this. Right? That's a lie. It sounds true, but it's a lie. Here's the truth. You don't know enough people to make this claim, right? I know Facebook allows you to have up to 5,000 friends, and some of you may have 5,000 friends on Facebook, right? Even if you realistically knew, like you intimately knew those 5,000 people on a high level. So you knew what their life was like, their finances were like, you really truly knew them and what they were able to do financially. That would mean that you know 0.00026% of the population of the world. Not even close to 1% of the population of the world. Not even close to it. Just a small fraction of it. That's all the people you know. And most of us don't truly even know 5,000 people. We may have 5,000 acquaintances, names we recognize, but to truly know them and to know if they would pay you that, you don't know enough people to make this claim, right? The next lie that most pastors believe that keep them where they are is that the economy is bad, so people can't afford to pay me what I need to be successful. That's the lie. The truth is, people don't pay for things based on what they can afford. People pay for things based on what they value. Put that in the chat. People buy what they value. They buy what they value. They don't buy what they can afford. They buy what they value. If you can solve their problem, if your thing is so good that it addresses the area of their life that they're most concerned about, if you offer help or support or even hope in the area of their life that they're most concerned about, guess what? Your thing has value. And furthermore, if your thing has value to them, they will find a way to pay you for it. Doesn't matter what they can afford. If it has value and they perceive the value, you present the value, you offer the value, and they're able to find it or assess it, guess what? They are going to pay you. It's not about what they can afford, it's what they value. The next lie, I should never charge people for anything because I'm a pastor, right? Be honest, how many of you struggle with this thought? Well, I can't charge for this or charge for that because I'm a pastor. That's the lie. The truth is there's no scriptural precedent for that. And in fact, one of my favorite verses in scripture, Proverbs 11:26. And this is the English Standard Version, but all the versions say the same thing, just worded slightly different. This says, the people curse him, Proverbs 11:26, who holds back grain, but a blessing is on the head of him who sells it. The people curse him who holds back grain. So if you have grain and people need it and you hold it back, so you have something people need, you know they need it, you hold it back, the people curse you. There's a curse on you for that. But it goes on to say a blessing is on the head of him who, notice it doesn't say gives it away. Notice it doesn't actually say a blessing's on the head of him who shares it. It says the blessing is on the head of him who sells it. What do we take away from that? There's a blessing in selling. And there's so many other things that we could dive into on why selling is actually the best way to provide value to someone. You can give someone something, but if you give it to them, many times they won't value it. Therefore, they won't get the result out of it that they should get. If you sell it to them, they now have made an exchange for something of value, something that they perceived as value. They exchanged it for your thing of value. So guess what? They're going to value your thing more, thereby getting a better result from it. I use this example. There's some coaching programs and different communities I'm in that are free. And guess what? I typically don't get any good results from them because I have not made any exchange of value. Therefore, I don't immerse myself into the product or into the program. So I don't get the result from it. But the programs I'm in that I pay for, especially the ones that I pay a decent amount of money to be part of, guess what? I get a lot of value out of them and I get good results. I always achieve the thing that I set out to achieve because I made the exchange. Hopefully this is making sense to you. The blessing is on the head of him who sells it. And the last lie is this: I don't have the resources or time to do any more than what I'm currently doing. This is one that a lot of us will struggle with. I don't have the resources or the time to do this. Okay. The truth is, most successful people in the world, or the most successful people in the world, are those who learn to be resourceful. They leverage what's available to them to get the results that they want. Time's going to pass either way. Right? 5 years is going to pass no matter what, whether you take time to learn how to change your identity so that you can display value and be paid for it, or if you don't, that time's going to pass anyway. All you have is time, right? All you have is time. The most successful people understand and they leverage their time to be able to get the result that they're looking for. They leverage their resources to be able to get the result that they're looking for. So, how do we become the total increase pastor? How do we do this? Like, this sounds great, but how do we actually do this? There's 5 easy steps. And I'm going to give them to you. I'm actually going to give you the framework that has allowed both my wife and I, to be on the verge of crossing our first $1 million in revenue in just a matter of about 3.5 years. No business degrees, no business background, did not come from money, anything like that. Okay. Simply learning a framework, investing in the right coaches to learn how to do this. And then from that, doing it ourselves, getting the result, and then putting together our framework for how we did it that we can now help others do. Very simple framework. This will change your life if you use the framework properly. The first thing, identify your thing. What is the thing that you have been called, gifted, graced, blessed, all the things? What does that thing look like that you've been blessed to be able to do, or that you enjoy doing that you can help others with? Identify that thing. Secondly, decide specifically who it's for. Who does this help? Who will this get an amazing result for? What does that person look like? What does that person do? Who is that person? What does that person want from life? What struggles does that person have? Decide specifically who your thing would serve best. Number three, create your offer. What is the thing that you actually are going to do with them, help them do for them? What is that thing? What are you actually offering to them that they can do, that they will gladly, and I mean gladly, pay you for? Step number four, spread the word. Now that you have your thing, you know what it is, you know who it's for, you've created it, now spread the word about it. Other people would call this marketing. Get the word out there. And marketing is not some big, bad, scary word that requires millions and millions of dollars to do accurately. In fact, you can do marketing with absolutely $0 budget. You just have to know what to do. And of course, you can spend money once you start making money and reach even wider and wider audiences and continue to make even more and more money. And more importantly, make more and more impact in the world. And number five, deliver the results. Make sure that if you're going to say, I can help with this, make sure that your system works very well to achieve that result for those who follow your system. It's all possible. It's all more than possible. This framework absolutely works 100% of the time for those who implement it correctly. It cannot fail. It's not possible for this framework to not deliver results when applied properly. So that's the framework. So now, many of you may be wondering, okay, well, this sounds great. How can I actually take this, become the person, step into the identity of a person who can hold this, who can do it and can go out and create 5, 10, 15, $20,000 per month? I mean, it sounds good, but how can I actually do it? And so I have started an option and an opportunity for those who are like, I don't want to just take this information and have it, and then that kind of be the end of it. I actually want to take this information and implement it, and I want to change the lives of everybody around me. I want to change my family's life. Think about this. What would an additional 10,000, I'll just pick 10,000, it's kind of in the middle. What would an additional $10,000 per month do for you and your family? What would an additional $10,000 per month do for you and your church? How would having all of your time back, being able to say, I no longer have to rely on a job. I no longer have to go spend 40 hours per week on a job. I no longer have to go and rely on our church offering to take care of me. How would that change your life? How would that impact everybody who's around you, including your church, including your family? I would submit it would impact you greatly. You'd be able to have more time freedom. You'd be able to devote more time to the ministry and all of those things. All you need is the self-identity. You have to increase your identity and become the person who's able to do it, the person who's able to hold it. Increase value, increase identity. Those are the only two things that matter. Economy doesn't matter. Your age doesn't matter. Your financial status right now doesn't matter. Can I shift my identity into the person who can do this? Can I believe in myself and believe in the promises of God that this is for me? That I don't have to be a struggling pastor, that I don't have to be, even if I'm not struggling, but I'm working 40 hours a week just to try to make ends meet. I don't have to do that. Can I become the person who steps into that identity so that I can know what my value is, give it to the world, and the world can pay me for it? And when I say the world, I don't mean the world in the sense of scripture, like unsaved. I mean mankind, people, everybody. It doesn't matter. People will pay you for your value when your identity matches, when you become that person. All right. So I want to share this opportunity with you if it's okay. I work with people all the time in these areas. I help people step out of the place where they are, step into the identity of the increased pastor. A lot of people who come onto our calls, they're like, man, this sounds great. Like, this framework is good, but I don't know the first place to really where to start with this. I don't even know what my thing is. Well, if you don't know what your thing is, how are you going to go sell that thing and make any money? You're not. You have to first identify your thing. And so most people struggle with that. So I actually will help you identify what your thing is. And every time we do this, the person on the other end, all who end up who are my clients, are the one they're like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I should have been doing. I should have been doing this a long time ago, right? But you just have to have someone who knows how to pull that value out of you, shape that value that's in you, and give that value to the world so you can start getting paid and you can be a blessing to those with who you share it with. So I want to share an opportunity with you. And this is called the Total Increase Pastor Business Coaching Academy. And this is how I help you take this from just being an idea, nice thought, nice information, nice presentation into an actual thing in your hand to bring it to life, to help you start creating this additional income that you want, to create this additional fulfillment that you might be lacking right now. And so in this Business Coaching Academy, it is a 6-month coaching program where I'm going to help you. I'm going to walk you through each step of the framework. So every step that we talked about that's going to take you to this place, every step of this framework that's allowed my wife and I to be on to our first million, okay, is because this framework absolutely works, but you have to go step by step and you have to do each step right. So I will walk you through each step. I'm going to help you actually create all of these things. I'm going to help you with the messaging of it, the marketing of it, the identity that's required to be able to do it, and show you how this can be your reality in just a few hours per month. My wife works about 3 hours a month, makes anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 a month. Okay. I work about, I'd say I work probably about 10 hours a month. I work a little bit more than her a month. I'm not misspeaking, a month, about 10 hours a month, and make anywhere from about 20 to 30, 35,000 a month using this exact framework. So I'm going to walk you through each step on how to make this happen for you. Right. The total value of the program is $20,000. And here's why I charge $20,000 to have one VIP day with you where I will come to you, actually come to your location. We sit down, we have a whole VIP day that we plan out. We walk through everything that it's going to require for your business, which essentially is talking about your life, your background, what have you done, what results have you achieved, all those kind of things. We walk through all those things. And from that, during that VIP day, we craft your business together. And I help you launch it. So I spend the day with you. You get to spend the day with me. We do lunch, all those kind of things. And then I work with you for 12 months in getting this thing launched, fine-tuned, and perfected. It does not take 12 months. It just really can take a matter of weeks, but you have my support for 12 months in the process. The total value of that VIP package is $20,000. Now, for today, for the 6-month coaching program, this is not actually what I'm selling. I'm not actually selling you the 20K program. Okay. This is for the 6-month version of this program. In this program, there's 3 VIP calls that you get. Okay. These are where we're going to map out everything to get your business built and launched. You also get access to 6 monthly group coaching calls where all the pastors who are in our program have an opportunity to come on our group calls once a month, and we do group coaching. Sometimes it's workshops, sometimes it's Q&A, sometimes it's just talking about where we are in business. Sometimes I do a little bit of direct coaching on strategies, those kind of things. That's generic for everyone. Okay. You get full support in this program until you get your first paid client. So what that means for you is no matter if you've created a $500 business program, so you have a $500 coaching program, or you have a $100 subscription program, whatever your thing is that you create, or if you have a $5,000 one-to-one coaching program or a $10,000 one-to-one coaching program, it doesn't matter. Whatever you create, this framework works for it, first off. And secondly, you have full support from me in the program until you get your first paid client. Here's why. If I help you get one person to pay you your price, you now have the formula and recipe to get 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people. The sky's the limit to pay you your price. The hard part that most people never get to is learning how to get it just right, where you know how to get one person to say yes. If you get one person to say yes to your price, you're in the game. You're in the game. So we work with you until you get your first paid client. The elite coaching program, the 6-month program, it's not 20,000. Okay. I don't charge that for it. That's just for the VIP day with me in the 12 months. I don't charge 15,000. I don't even charge 10,000. Okay. For the elite coaching program, it is only 6,500. It's just 6,500. Now, I'm going to share here so you can kind of see what this looks like. The investment is only 6,500 for the elite coaching program. However, to join the program, it just requires a deposit of 2,500 to join the program. That's it. 2,500. The remaining 4,000 is paid as revenue share through the sales that I help you make in your business. Okay, so let's kind of look at that for a second. What that means is if I don't help you make sales, I never get paid. Okay, and that's not okay with me, right? I'm investing my time, my energy, my knowledge, all the money I've invested to learn and to get where I am. I'm putting all of that into you. And if I don't help you make money, I don't get paid for that. Okay. So the remaining 4,000 is paid out as a 30% revenue share of the sales we help you make. Once we hit that 4,000, you're done. You don't pay us anything else. Everything you keep 100% of your profit. Okay. There's options for the deposit. Of course, you can do a pay in full option of 2,500. That gets you started. Okay. You can do an in-house installment plan of 1,500. So we break it up into 2 payments. You end up paying 3 grand for the deposit, doing it that way. But that helps you kind of with your cash flow. It would be 1,500 today, and then you pay 1,500 in 30 days. And now your deposit's taken care of. Okay. But we start working right away. The moment you make your first payment towards your deposit, you're in the game and we start the program. Okay. You also have the option. A lot of pastors choose the financing option. Okay. This is an option where you have you can divide it up into, if you qualify for this, payments as low as $127 a month. Okay. Nice thing with Klarna is they typically, if they approve you, they don't require any kind of payment down. So you don't have a payment due for the first 30 days. And we've already launched the program. We're already working on building your business. Okay. And obviously, there's some other financing options available there. However, some people don't like to do the rev share. They're like, I don't want to pay you once I start making money. I want to keep everything I make, right? If I make 5 grand, I don't want to have to pay you 30% of that, until I pay the remaining balance off. I want to keep everything I make. Great. If I do have an option for those who don't want to do rev share on the end, you can get $1,500 off. I'll basically just take $1,500 off the price, and you only pay 5,000 for the whole program. The whole program. Okay. All the coaching, all the support, having your business built, launched, working with you at least up until you get your first client. Most people will get their first client before the 6 months is even close to over. So you have support for even scaling after that for the duration of the 6 months. Okay. But that price is only 5,000. If you want to do the 5,000 pay in full option, you can also use Klarna for that. And the payments are as low as $254 a month. Okay. So, I mean, literally less than the price of most utility bills, your cell phone bills, probably more than that. And it's not actually helping you make any money. Okay. But this option through Klarna is literally going to change your life. It's going to change the life of those who are around you. Okay. So those are the options. What I'm going to do here in the chat is I'm going to share with you the link to go and be able to choose whichever option makes the most sense for you. Okay. So here is the link. And if you click that link, it will take you to the page where you can choose the option that makes the most sense for you. If you want to pay in full, the 5K with the financing options even available, you can do that. If you want to do just the deposit, the $2,500 deposit, also financing available options. If you need those, you can do that. Or if you want to split up your deposit into 2 payments of 1,500, the option is there to do that. For those who may want to, you're interested, and this is not for those who are just kind of like, I just want to get some free coaching. No, this is if you're interested in the program, but you have some questions, some specific questions to you, you can click on the link that's on that page at the bottom that says book a call. And you click that link, it'll take you to my direct scheduling page, and you can choose a slot, 15-minute slot, and I will answer any specific questions you have about the program, and then we'll go from there. Your best life is literally ahead of you. It's not behind you. I just want to encourage all of you. The vision you have for your life, it's all right in front of you. Becoming the increased pastor is all right in front of you. It's all right there. It's a matter of, am I willing to make the changes to become the person who does this? Can I step into the identity of an increased pastor, or am I going to be stuck in the ways of my past? Am I going to be stuck in the ways of a victim pastor who does not think this is possible for him or possible for her? I challenge you. Anytime a tree is going to grow or become anything, it starts out as a seed, right? You understand that. It starts out as a seed. That seed can't just sit there and just say, man, I really wish one day I'd be a tree. I really hope to be a tree one day. It can't think its way. It can't wish its way. It can't even pray its way into being a tree. It has to go down into the ground, the cold, hard, scary, dark ground, scary place. It has to cease being a seed in order to become a tree. A seed is not a tree. It has to cease being a seed and put itself in the proper place to become a tree. And of course, there's other processes that go into that: water and the right nutrients and the right sunlight, and all of those things, the right kind of ground and all of that. But it has to first decide, I'm tired of being a seed. And it has to cease being that. If you're going to become the total increase pastor, you have to cease being a seed. And you've got to become the tree. You've got to do something different. You've got to identity shift in your mind. I'm no longer this pastor that struggles. I'm no longer the pastor that has to go to work just to make ends meet. I'm doing God's work. I don't want to have to do all these other things and do God's work. I want to be able to just focus on God's work. I don't want to have to rely on my church to pay me or to keep my family afloat. I want to have my own income. And if this is you, the total increase pastor is who you have to become. And it's more than possible for you. And I'm excited for you because you've invested your time, even just to get this message, to get this information. But now to implement and to go to the next level, you've got to do something you've never done before to get a result that you've never seen before. The total increase pastor is your truth if you want it to be. God, thank you for each pastor here who has heard this, God. Thank you for every pastor, Lord, that you're working on their hearts now to help them identity shift to the place that they can be the most effective, the most efficient in your kingdom, helping those who are assigned to them, helping those that you've put under their care, their family, their members, Lord, and allowing them to become the pastor that increases in every area, that helps his members increase, his family increase, that has no struggles, no kind of financial struggles, regardless of the economy, regardless of anything that's going on, because they know how to convey the value that you've placed in them. And men will give into their bosom. Men will make an exchange for that value that you've given them. Thank you, God, for this work that you're doing in us, this movement, this shift, God, that you're bringing to our pastors so that we can become the total increased pastor. Bless each family, each church that's represented here. In Jesus' name, amen.